Oh, wow. But this one is my personal favorite. Kirk's Enterprise. All those perfectly clean retro lines. Yep, I'm definitely a Constitution class man.
Oh, was it good for you too? Howdy y'all, I'm Adam Renaissance Nerd, and welcome to my review of Picard, Season 3, Episode 6. Wow, Episode 6. And while this was a slow episode in terms of events moving, this was Star Trek porn. This episode was Star Trek porn for the nerd. Plain and simple. The Easter eggs, the callbacks, the nostalgia. I feel good all over after it. Again, this is a slow episode, but it's fun because it's filled with a lot of great character moments. The crew is almost back together. The TNG crew is almost back together with a couple of minor alterations. Either way, this episode, guys, I'll say again, this was for the nerd. This episode was for the Star Trek nerd. Every one of us, wherever you fall in the spectrum of Star Trek fandom, you got something from this. TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager. You got a nice little, we still like you, or Terry Metalis likes you. He appreciates you. We all got a nice little pat on the head saying, we know you're here. We know you're here. We're sorry. Enjoy this. Enjoy this member berry. This perfectly sweet member berry. Without the attachment of hypocrisy or patronizing us. It's good. It was fun. It was nice. But it also was a nice little contained episode of events setting piece. We'll call this a place-setting episode. We're setting up for the back half. We are now in the back half of the season. Things are only going to get tougher for our reunited crew and new members and a lot of fun stuff. And again, the new cast members still doing well. Jack, Sydney, they are integrated. Shaw didn't have much to do in this episode, but when he was in it, he had a fun little moment that I truly appreciate as it's true to his character. He gave us his background, and for him, his moment, his nice little moment, he got it. I liked it. It's fun. It's fun. We're going to have fun with this one. We're going to look at just about every little Easter egg that I recognize, and at the same time, then we're going to talk about some good dad stuff. Again, good dad. Good dad theme comes back once again. I can't wait. I want more of this, but we're going to have to settle for just episode 6 a day. So let's, without further ado, engage.
He had nightmares when he was a boy. Vivid dreams. Talked with imaginary things. I thought he was gifted, not plagued with an overclocked brain.
Okay, let's get started. The whole episode begins in the prologue. We see little buoys in space. Basically, they're transponder signals. The Titan's been dropping out of warp, dropping a transponder buoy, and then boom, getting out of there. It's basically to keep the hounds off their scent. You see a couple of Federation ships zeroing on one, and then we find the Shrike. The Shrike is back out in the field. Repairs are made. Vadic is once again back in the race, and she comes upon one, and she's pissed off. Vadic isn't happy that they can't find him. But then she comes up with a plan. It's time to zero in on everybody that Picard is close to, who is not involved on being the Titan, or not involved in part of the Titan crew at the moment. Of course, you're now going to start thinking, okay, who's left out there? We got Geordi out there, and you got Deanna out there. Deanna's out there, Geordi's there. Everybody else is accounted for, almost, in a certain way. During this moment, though, we get another great interaction. We've been talking about how this splinter group of founders, these changelings, are different than the ones of the Great Link. Again, something happens. Right now, one of Vadic's crew members, it has to be another changeling, questions what they're doing because they are 72 hours away from Frontier Day. They still don't have Jack Crusher. They still, for some reason, need Jack Crusher. And one of them starts questioning, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? One of them ganks him right out. We see again, these changelings do not follow the ancient traditions of the founders. You do not kill another changeling. That is punishable by, by turning into, for Odo was to be turned into a human, but it just never happens. But now, these new radical changelings, they will gank MFers. They will gank an MFer. So, Vadic has her plan, though. Gonna go and get somebody. Gonna lure Picard in using somebody as bait or as leverage. Whatever. There you go. That's it. She's off back on the hunt. We cut now to the Titan orbiting a sun, and we zoom right in. At the end of last episode, we found Jack confiding in Beverly that there's something wrong with him. He's having visions, hearing things. Beverly did a scan, and she's talking with Picard right now. And according to her diagnosis, he has the disease Picard has, aromatic syndrome, which we were introduced to in All Good Things in the TNG series finale. Right. I'm going to say right now, I don't buy it. I do not buy it that Jack is just suffering from aromatic syndrome. I don't. I think this is a red herring. The changelings want him, and when we see what the changelings took, we're going to find out the other thing the changelings took at the end of the episode. But you can see where something might be going with it, why they want Jack. I can start to theorize maybe, but still, I don't think he has aromatic syndrome. I think whatever is wrong with him, whatever he's connected to, is masquerading as aromatic syndrome. I just do. There's something about his behavior when he becomes another person, when he went into Jason Bourne mode last episode. I'm sorry, that doesn't fly with just having bouts of anger and hallucination vision. He transformed into a killing machine, an efficient killing machine without training. As far as we know, Jack doesn't have that kind of training. He can probably handle himself in a good old scrap, but he's not good enough to take out 4 changelings like he did last episode. So I'm saying it now. This isn't aromatic syndrome. It's a red herring. It's a head fake, and I don't buy it. Point is now we have to have an attempted good dad moment. Picard goes back to 10 forward, the holographic 10 forward. Jack's drinking it up. Jack's taking the news sort of well. They have a sit down. Jack says, some people hide, some do this. I'm just going to drink a little bit and then move on. Hey, he's not turning to the bottle. He's just softening the blow. They have a little discussion about Jack isn't really angry at him for this, and it's good. I was hoping they didn't go that way. He kind of accepts it. So it's just, it is what it is. But I'm not going to dwell on it. And Picard tries to give him some, they have a little conversation, and unfortunately more and more, we keep hearing synthetic Picard, and we can't get away from it this episode, and we can't get away from it for the rest of the season, apparently. I was hoping they wouldn't come back to it, but it's here. He asks him, how did you get through it? Picard says, I didn't get through it. I dealt with the disease for decades until you're synthetic now. You're robot Picard. But Jack is in good spirits either way. He's not letting get to him, and that's a good development of the character. Again, I don't buy it. Now, they are also waiting around here because they have to pick up some of the wayward crew. Worf and Raffi appear on the ship now. We got them in room. Have a great little interaction between Worf and Riker. Riker still wants to banter like they used to, but Worf is a little more serious, talking about being a pacifist. If this is Worf as a pacifist so far, I think we need a new definition of pacifism. When we get to the pacifist jokes later, he's talking about meditation. Then Raffi and Seven have an awkward moment because apparently they were together in previous seasons. Seven isn't gay. Sorry, Seven's not gay. She's not gay. She likes the D, the Chakotay D. Either way, now we have a strategy session. Big strategy session. Everybody is in the ready room going over the plan. Combined with what Ro, R.I.P. Ro, combined with what Ro gave them and what Worf and Raffi bring to the table, they know everything now revolves around Daystrom. They know that this particular program there, logging everything, has all the answers they need. So it's time to do a heist. That's right, guys. We're a bit of a heist episode, sort of a heist episode, amidst all the nerd porn that we're going to get in this, all the Star Trek nerd porn we're going to get. They decide we're going to break into Daystrom using the device that Worf procured from the Vulcan crime lord in last episode. The team is going to consist of Worf, Riker, and Raffi. And there was a bad joke, or it was a sort of bad joke, where Raffi and Seven are awkward, and Worf tries to give a little motivational message about how going into battle with a former lover, and Seven goes, "No, I'm not going." He goes, "Oh, good. This is terrible. On my planet, when breakups happen, blood is literally shed." It's okay, not great. I chuckled. Riker comes in, and then we get the pacifism joke, and Worf goes, I only attack when I have to, and Riker's going, "What happened to you?" And as they're teleporting away, or transporting away to Daystrom, he just goes, "We're all going to die." That was funny. Riker does not like new Worf. And it's even funnier when we're in there. We get into Daystrom. The alarms go off. They put it in there. But then they got a problem. As soon as they're in there, boom. It's what Sidney LaForge identifies as Echelon-class ships show up. And these apparently have the ability, even if their attacks don't hit you, it's some sort of tracking ability that will be able to track your warp signature anywhere. They're closing in on the Titan. Titan's got to make a run for it. Picard says, "Let's get out of here. I'm going to give new coordinates. Away team, just hold tight, finish the mission. We'll be back to get you soon." Boom. They're out of there, heading towards the Federation Fleet Museum. The Fleet Museum. They have been teasing the Fleet Museum through Sydney, telling us that that's where Geordi works, but also in the end credits of the show. They've been teasing the Fleet Museum for weeks, and we are finally here in all its nerd TNG porn glory, baby! Oh, give it to me!
I've been here before. This is
the Fleet Museum. Every legend resides. This is their final resting place.
I just teased you with that part. We're not quite there yet, but it's the transition because all the good nerd porn happens in this segment of the review. All the good TNG porn is right here for you. Well, TNG, TOS, DS9 Voyager, it's all there. All there. You're gonna get pleasured from all sides by Star Trek porn. You just are. We are on Daystrom, though. We're on Daystrom. Our away team of Worf, Riker, and Raffi. They are now being, well, they're going to get fluffed by the porn first. Let's just say it. They're going to get fluffed first. Worf explains that they are in Section 31's dirty little closet. Riker's surprised. He never expected to find this stuff, and here's what we get. Here comes your first taste of TOS. TOS lovingly drifts in and says, "Hey, look," as Riker moves aside. Genesis 2. Section 31 made another Genesis torpedo. Oh, ooh. More Rathacon. I'll always take more Rathacon. Oh, yes. As it fades away, then you get a good shot of it. There it is. Another Genesis torpedo. They did weaponize it. Oh. Then Raffi, while she's talking, blah, 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 doesn't matter what Raffi says, moves along, and as she pauses, moves aside, Kirk's freaking body! Second 31 has Kirk's body. We like to pretend Generations didn't happen, but it did. And they have Kirk's body. Oh, no. Oh, no. And then Worf This one's a combination. I say it's a little bit. It's TOS, but then it's a little bit of DS9. A little bit of DS9. Here's a little bit of now you're getting your first multiple coming in, and they here's the little noise, and we all know that noise. When we hear a tribble, it says attack tribble, and as the data screen goes away, this nightmare fuel tribble attacks the window, and Worf jumps a little bit. And remember, Worf as a Klingon hates tribbles. Of course, he hates tribbles, but Worf, Sisko, Dax, Bashir, I think O'Brien was there too. They went back in time, remember? Season 6. I think it was Season 6, DS9. They went back in time to the Trouble with Tribbles episode. Worf got a face full of tribbles in that. So he has had personal experience with them. Hates them. Riker pokes fun of Adam for it. Even the great Klingon warrior is afraid of the attack tribble, and Worf doesn't take kindly to it. Oh, you still like to hide behind humor and make fun of the plight of others. And Riker's reply is, wait a minute, you're not going to poke back? What's the matter with you? You always used to poke back when what happened to you? And they start to go at it, little banter, but then Raffi has to interrupt it and move things along because we have to find what's going on here. Of course, during this whole thing, there's been off-key notes being played, and the computer security system zeroes in on Riker. But wait, we shut it down. Oh, no, there's something else at play here. The sharp off-key notes continue to play, and then a holographic crow flies through. Now, it's not until the final reveal of the trick here that I caught on. But the off-key, the crow, and then the security system activates, and a holographic Moriarty appears. Now, this was teased. We knew this was coming. It's not a surprise we get Moriarty. But the fake fans were going, oh, he's going to be the big bad. He's going to be a real villain. No. This is Terry Matalas just giving a tip of the hat, little nod to good Star Trek lore surrounding Data. Remember, when Data, during that slight DS9 crossover episode where he was having dreams and they brought on Bashir to help him out, Data dreamt of a crow. He was a crow flying. It was a program embedded in his system so he could talk to Dr. Noonien Singh about his evolution. The crow. And then Riker realizes that the off-key tune is a reference to Farpoint, the pilot, when he and Data first encountered and Data couldn't whistle worth a damn. And when he figures it out and finishes the key, the holographic Moriarty, who's busy shooting real bullets at them, goes marvelous. Because then get the flashback, and then you see Data, and Data goes marvelous. So now we know the system that's been integrated into Daystrom is Data. And without Riker, they wouldn't have got, well, actually, no. Data might have found another memory with Worf, but it was Riker's memories that got them through this. Oh, there's your TNG porn. So right now you got TOS and DS9 and TNG. They're rubbing all up against you, and you're having the goodness. Now here comes the full throttle. Here comes the full throttle. Here comes the assault. Soon it's gonna be. It's not right now. It's a 4-way. You, TNG, TOS, little DS9. And it's going to become a 5-way soon because we're going to get some Voyager porn too. And more. And the TOS is going to get a lot more aggressive during this encounter. Because now we're at the Fleet Museum, which has been teased for so long, and we're here. They arrive and you get the shot. Here's the full shot of the clip. You see all the ships and you can spot them all. And I spotted right away. Why is there a bird of prey at the Fleet Museum? Only one bird of prey has historical significance as far as I'm concerned. That's right. The title of the episode, The Bounty, the HMS Bounty, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and we're going to even get a direct reference in the episode in a few moments. We'll get to it see now you gotta take it slow because now you're dealing with almost 4 because you see Voyager. Voyager's there. You can see Voyager. But first, Geordi hails them. Power down, Titan. This is not the reception they expected. Geordi's not happy they're there. And Geordi has a reason for not being happy, and you gotta respect it, because you know why? Good dad. Gotta respect it. Geordi beams over. Oh, who's that with him? Turns out, daughter LaForge number 2. Sydney's sister, who is following in her father's footsteps as an engineer. There's a frosty reception in transporter room. Sydney is Sir when seeing Commodore Geordi LaForge. Geordi has a warm. He is warm to everybody. Hugs Beverly. Looks at Picard and says, "Jean-Luc, we got to talk." And we're gonna get to the Geordi Jean-Luc stuff in a moment because it kind of interrupts everything. But meanwhile, we got to cut back to Daystrom, and then we're gonna get the ship porn. We are back in Daystrom, and now that the security system shut down, they see Data. They got Data, and here's where everything kind of starts to flow together, because we learn that inside Data is something special. This is Data, but not Data. I just had to mark us that they were there, and now here comes the ship porn. Now you have to. This is where you need your stamina. Have a drink of water. Hope you had a sandwich before this, because you got to be able to keep going. You've got to last, because it's now becoming a 5-way any second now. First, Jack enters the bridge on Titan while Geordi and Jean-Luc are having a chit-chat in the ready room. We'll get back to that in a second. Jack sits down. Seven gives him his little side eyes, like, "What are you doing sitting in the captain's chair?" "I'm just going to chill out here." And they sit down. And Seven, very playfully, brings up the images of the Fleet Museum. And right away, Jack knows what he's talking about. First image, one of my personal favorites. DS9 pressing up against me hard, rubbing up and down. Here's the Defiant. Defiant. I love the Defiant, one of my favorite ships of all time. I like it. Just its powerhouse. I love its phaser bangs. I love it. Now, that is technically the second Defiant. Doesn't have an A next to it, but it is the second Defiant, because remember, first Defiant got destroyed, and they repurposed the prototype to be the new Defiant. So that's Defiant 2.0, but still, it's the Defiant. I love the Defiant. Jack knows it. Then he clicks off another TOS ship to New Jersey, and then, you saw it in my opening clip of the review. He sees the Kirk's Enterprise. Permit me to make this little edit to the review, simply because I made a mistake in the take of that section, and I can't redo some of what I did there. You'll understand it when we get to the next part. I made a mistake. I was saying in my original recounting of the episode here that was the original Enterprise. No. You can see right there, that is A. That is Enterprise A, and A is not our original Enterprise, but you know what? It still is Kirk's. It's still Kirk's ship. It is still TOS as far as I'm concerned. It's a movie section, but it's still good. It's still happy. My friends were home again. It's okay. I'm going to let it do nasty things. To quote my buddy Dre, I'm going to let it do unspeakable things to me, just like I would have let Kirk's original Constellation, non-lettered Enterprise, do unspeakable things to me. So we continue to let TOS do unspeakable things to us. And then suddenly, a new entry into this menagerie appears. Voyager joins us. Voyager steps in and says, "Stand back. I want my shot at pleasuring these nerds." Here comes Seven, wistfully, a little homesick. Jack doesn't know. It says, "Oh, that's the Voyager. That's Voyager. It was my home. She made her name farther out than any other of these classic ships, and I had my family there." We get a great little interaction here. And again, these are characters new and old coming together. Jack poignantly says, "You're just looking for connections again, aren't you?" And we're all looking for connections. It's human nature. Because we're all, see those stars out there? Look like they're close together, but they're all so far apart. We're all those stars, and we're just looking to find each other some way, somehow. Seven laughs. Then you're your father's son. Look at you, you're your father's son, talking like that. And this is where the part of the theme of the episode comes in. We inherit things from our parents. Looks, diseases, if it is aromatic syndrome, which I don't think it is. But we also inherit the good things, some of these positive traits that help other people. And Seven says that kind of thinking, that the poetic drive-by, she calls it, the poetic drive-by observance, it makes people feel noticed and important. And that's a good thing you got from your father. And we're going to get back to that because now, as they fade out, though, they stop on that. And then Jack says, "Why is there a bird of prey there?" And Seven, knowing her history, says, "That is the HMS Bounty. Landed on Earth, fished out of the San Francisco Bay." And Jack goes, "Oh, yeah, the whale thing." Personal, sentimental favorite because it was the last one. Voyage Home was the last movie I saw with my grandma. It was the last Star Trek movie I saw with my grandma. So I have a sentimental love for that movie. I love it. And Jack gets an idea when he hears, oh, they had trouble getting it because the cloaking device kept turning on and off. They couldn't find it. Aha! But okay, now ship porn is over. The porn aspect of this episode is now done. Well, TNJ is going to make one last little on you to get your attention later on. But we are now done with the nerd porn. It's over. I know it was good, though. I loved it. I'm satisfied. I feel very satisfied right now. Anyway, now we're going to jump back a little bit because while this is going on, between all these scenes during the discovery of data and this and that, Geordi and Jean-Luc were having a discussion. And let's get into that because now it all kind of interweaves everything into this central plot point of parents, relationships, children, traits, why we do the things we do, why we make choices. So here we go, Geordi and Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc, I want to help you, but I can't help you and protect them. I'm sorry.
Circling back to Picard and Geordi having a discussion, it happens during all this stuff, but I wanted to get the ship porn out of the way. I wanted to enjoy that without the rest of the story interfering with our fun. The story is still fun, but I enjoyed the ship porn. I enjoyed all that nostalgia porn right there. It was great. I'm satisfied. I hope you are too. Anywho, while all this is going on, Geordi and Picard, first with Geordi's other daughter, whose name I did not catch, I'd have to go back and look at it, are basically discussing why Geordi can't help him. It's a really interesting interaction of the former young officer, now old man, with his captain, now an older man, once commander and subordinate, and certain things, and Geordi letting him know that once upon a time, I followed you into danger of my choice. But now I can't let you do this. I can't let you get in the way of Starfleet because my daughter is on this bridge. She's a fugitive with you, and I have to protect my family, my children, my wife. And Picard tries to make the argument, but your daughter chose to be in Starfleet. And Geordi goes, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's my family we're talking about here. I have to protect them. Now, this is Geordi being good dad. Overprotective good dad, perhaps, but good dad. And it's a really interesting concept because we've never seen Geordi taking a sort of opposite end of Picard. Once again, these are people who have, once upon a time, have relationships we're used to from previous incarnations in the shows and movies. And now it's, no, I'm putting my foot down. We're talking about my child here. We are our children are us, and that's part of the way the conversation goes, part of the theme. They are carrying on our traits, our ideals, and we have to protect them so that they can then grow into their own ideals and their own traits. And I have to protect my children. Picard tries to make the case, but in the end, he realizes Geordi is not going to budge. Apparently, Geordi in his old age is very stubborn, as the second daughter comes out to try and give the bad news to Sydney that Geordi's not going to help them at all. And at this point, too, you see a little bit of interesting interaction between Jack and Sydney. And then something kind of happening there. I caught it. If they're going to push something, I see it. I see it. But Geordi puts his foot down. Jean-Luc said, now, while they're discussing this, talking about seeing ourselves and our children, putting them forward, we want the best for them, we're interlaid with what's going back on in Daystrom. And here's now is the reveal. Data. But not Data. We discover, and I guess this is some new lore that was added in this bullshit Kurtzman verse, Kurtzman Trek that I'm not aware of. Another Sung, Noonien Sing, whatever. Another Sing is there, and he was building a combination of a positronic android and a synthetic creature, being. And what we have here is, you see, when you walk in, they walk into the room, this mainframe there, you see B4, the remains of B4, who had, as they remind us, all the data was uploaded into him. So everything that was data before he died on the scimitar in Nemesis. And I only say that because I don't want to talk about what apparently they did to him in season 1 of this series. Before Data died on Nemesis, he uploaded everything that he was on B4 to hopefully evolve B4 into a more into a higher version of himself, same as him, so that Data wouldn't be alone. So Data was a lot. What was Data was in B4, all his memories, his emotions, his experiences. And we get when they're at. What we learn now is that what's going on here is a unified positronic matrix was created in this new Data, combining Lal, the Data's real daughter that he created. Notice they don't mention whatever went on in this season. I think that's one of the retcons that have been mentioned. They don't mention the bastardization of this season. Lal and her brief existence, and you would think, why would you put Lal in there? Because Lal was an interesting evolution of a positronic android who naturally, without an emotion chip, developed emotions on her own. So a little bit of Lal, a little bit of B4, and then this is a kicker, a little bit of lore. Oh, a little bit of lore in there. Because remember, lore was destroyed, but Data collected the pieces of lore. Because he got the emotion chip out of it. And then a whole lot of data. This Sing that I'm not aware of is recounting this in a final log. A whole lot of data. Problem is, all these personalities have failed to integrate into a single consciousness. A single soul, as it were, maybe. So they're all at war with each other. So the android, this synthetic positron android, has not been brought online. But it is operating as the mainframe system of this Daystrom. Data witnessed the theft of the tech by the changelings. So now they need to get Data out of there. And this whole scene is integrated as this Sing is giving the monologue of, I wanted this to be a part of me, but I wanted this to be a part of basically my family, the growth, all the best parts brought together to create something new, something pure. And this new Data is not just bits and pieces, but it's made in the image of an old wizened, having lived human life, being human. That's why they make the excuse. That's why we see old Brent Spiner, and it's not young Data. It's a nice little workaround, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm not gonna question it. And in the meantime, again, you have this overlay with Geordi talking with Picard about family, about protecting. And now this was the protection of the family Sing. All the incarnations brought into one. And now they got to get Data out of there, but they can't turn him on yet because he's not going to work. Problem is, security's going to, they're running out of time. Security is beating on the door. They're running out of time. Meanwhile, back at Daystrom, Geordi wasn't going to help them. Picard says, we got to find another way. Meanwhile, Jack and Sydney and Sydney's sister get an idea. Jack, having seen the bounty, and you saw where he was going with this, you saw it immediately. Let's, how do you ladies feel about a little bit of larceny? Well, they steal the cloaking device. Now, mind you, this is a 100-plus-year-old cloaking device. I don't think they address that this is an ancient technology-wise compared to the current gen of starships. This is an old-ass cloaking device. Well, the kids try to put it in there, and it's not working. Things start to go wrong immediately. But before this, before things were going, we get a great, I mentioned this earlier, great Shaw moment. Right as Geordi's about to leave, he's saying goodbye, and now they found Shaw, because now Picard says, we got to go find Shaw, wherever he is in the ship, and we got to strategize our next move. As they're saying goodbye to Geordi, Shaw has a fanboy moment. Because remember, we learned 2 episodes ago that he was an engineer. He's an engineer by trade. He just worked his way up to captain. He is fanboy fawning all over Geordi. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. I wish I had more time. And Geordi is kind of classy here. Says, "Listen, we don't have time for this. What you've got here, this ship is a mess. It's whole paper thin. You've got this thing held together by what is essentially 24th century duct tape. And if we have more time, I'd love to geek out over what you've done to keep this ship going, one engineer to another. We don't have time." Then, of course, the cloaking device, the kids are trying to install it. It's all going wrong, and now Geordi knows exactly what's going on. Goes down to where they're doing it as they're trying to fix it, and basically says, fine, get out of the way. Let the pro deal with it. But as he does it, he looks at Jack and says, you, stay away from my daughter. And remember, Jack, in his original introduction quote back in episode 2, says, bane to fathers everywhere. Geordi immediately comes in there and senses Jack Crusher hitting on Sydney. I love it. Stay away from my daughter. Good dad. Good dad. Jack, as much as we like Jack right now is not somebody you want to see your daughter bring home for dinner. He is a bit of a ne'er-do-well with a good heart, but a ne'er-do-well. He's a con man. He's a trickster. But either way, they install the cloaking device and they hoof it back to Daystrom. Now we've got just a couple ships there. The security's beating on the door, like we said. Finally, they get Picard. I love it. They cloak in. You see, they come in. It cloaks it. It's a cloaking device. They didn't spot them. Picard lets Riker and the away team know, we're coming in. We're going to get you. Problem is, security breaks down the door. Riker runs interference, says, you guys get Data out of here. Data's more important. And they transport out. Problem is, in the process, Riker gets tagged with the transport inhibitor, and they don't get Riker out. Riker is captured. But now we get, here's another little, the porn session isn't over yet. Because I was hoping this would happen in this episode. We get a little taste of it. And I'm really hoping in episode 7 we get more of what's about to happen. Because they teleport in the transport. I keep saying teleport. Transport in Worf, Raffi, and Data. Or Data 2.0. And we get this moment here. I love this. This is the TNG. We're getting one more round of TNG porn. That's what we're getting.
We may have lost one friend in battle, but we have gained another.
Data.
That is powerful. That's character work right there. That's showing without telling. Geordi was Data's best friend. Data was Geordi's best friend. Geordi was the most influential human in Data's life, I think, after Picard. Or before Picard even. No, before Picard even. And right there, I was hoping we'd get this, and I really hope to get more of this next episode, because we get a little more taste of it. And again, there's fantastic acting by LeVar Burton. Whatever he may be in terms of crazy in the real world, he's a great actor, and he knows how to emote. He knows how to deliver a scene and the impact. And he knows how to show and not tell. He knows that he can just delve into the original feelings of what it meant to be Geordi LaForge, best friend of Data, and give it to us. We're going to get back to that moment. And you might be asking, what was Geordi's turnaround? I forgot to mention in the previous section, before they go back to Daystrom, what turns Geordi around to help out, before the cloaking device thing, Sydney and Geordi had a one-on-one. Geordi tried to make Sydney stay at the Fleet Museum. Sydney said, no, I have to stay here. I have to be with these people. They need me. Geordi says, no, I need to protect you. You're my family. You're my daughter. And she shoots right back, they're my family too. You taught me that. You taught me that your crew can be your family. You notice this theme keeps coming up in this series right now. A crew is a family. They're not a bunch of nattering morons that Kurtzman Trek is portrayed them to be. No, original Star Trek means your crew is your family. 2 times in this episode, we've heard this now. Seven talking about her fond memories of Voyager, saying they were my family. And now Sydney saying, you taught me, Dad, Geordi LaForge, legendary engineer of the Enterprise D and E. You taught me that a good crew is your family. You have to stand by your crew. And she says, no, I'm standing by my crew. And that's the thing that turned Geordi around. And now Geordi's probably glad he's here because he's getting Data back, his best friend. Oh, it's powerful. And I can't wait to get more of it. Before that, though, we are in the ready room. First, Picard is debriefing Worf. Worf basically does Worf badassery right here in just words. If this, again, I said earlier, if this is Worf as a pacifist, I hate to see what Worf the warmonger is. Worf tells Picard, I don't care who gets in my way. I don't care what is in my path, what bars my path. I will bring Will Riker home. I'm going to bring Riker home. Don't you worry. Picard nods. Go do it. Then Jack comes in. More good dad stuff. Jack trying, and this is great, Jack is trying here to find a bond with his father. Comes in, recounting their earlier conversation. All that stuff I said about getting the bad stuff, the genetics, this and that. Yeah, I got that from you. And he quotes a bunch of other things that are good about himself. Says, I got that, all these caring, this outgoing stuff, I got that from my mom. But the bravery, the stalwartness, the hopeful nature, the yearning to see the stars. You know, I got that from him. I may have gotten a bad hand in genetics. I'm going to lose the hair. It didn't say that. I'm going to lose the hair. I got this syndrome. If it is a syndrome, I still don't think it is. But there are other things that are good, and I got them from you. And I'm glad that I got those from you. And I'm glad that we're here together. And it's just great father-son moment. It's cool. Good dads. Here's more good dad. The family LaForge is basically getting ready to start Data up. And right there's a great little interaction between Sydney and Geordi. Other sister's there, but she's just kind of sitting by. Maybe she'll get more to do next episode. I don't know. But while Geordi's fixing it, and he's trying to tell her, I'm sorry I was so hard on you. I just want you to be the best, and I'm glad that we're here together. And I want you to be safe. I'm just trying to protect you. And she goes, I know, Dad, I know. And he asks her for a tool. And she says, no, you want this one. And he goes, you sure? She says, well, yeah, I may not be an engineer, but there's a reason I crashed all those speeders as a kid. I did it on purpose because I wanted to spend time with you fixing them. And that got me in the feels, dude. That got me in the feels. Geordi's a good dad. He may have been an overprotective dad coming into this episode, but it shows you that for their life, he was a good dad. He was a good dad that his daughters wanted to spend time with him. And then in turn, he wants to spend time with them, protect them. And it's a great little bond moment there. And I got the feels, dude. I got the feels, and I'm happy. I like seeing that kind of development there. But we got even better development now. The crew is gathered. They're going to turn on Data. Geordi starts it up, says, now, I don't know what's going to happen. These different personalities are at war. We may not get Data out of the star, but you know what? They turn it on. Data opens his eyes, looks around confused, but we get We get Data. And here it is. He turns around. And this is why I'm glad this was the first thing he did. He looked over. He looked around. He didn't say anything until he looks over and says, Geordi? And then you get a close-up of LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton, and this is both good writing and good acting. The writers of the show knew they did not need to have Geordi go, oh, Data, I'm so glad I haven't seen you in so long. You're my best friend. I'm so glad you're awake. I have so much to tell you. Let's interact. Blah, blah. No. Says nothing. Doesn't even say Data like he said when he came in at the transporter room. He just looks and has a soft smile because his best friend is back. That's all you needed to know. The emotion is there. The connection is there. The connection that Jack talked about, that everybody's looking for when he was talking to Seven earlier. That's all you needed. Good writing, good acting. LeVar Burton, able to emote beautifully. Then Data looks over, and you now know that his memories stop at a certain point because he looks at Picard and says, Captain. His memories stop at the scimitar, at Nemesis, at the events of Nemesis. And Picard says, yes, Data, I'm here. We're all here, and we need your help. You were there. We dive right into it. We'll get more emotional interactions next episode, I'm sure. Data, you were there. We need to know what the changelings took from Daystrom besides the portal tech. Data's jumping around. He's confused, and you can see not everything's working right. The hamster, the positronic hamster is not really on the wheel. Actually, there are 4 positronic hamsters in there, and they're fighting for the wheel. Data says, yes, I know all of you, and the one here remembers you the most fondly. I am Data, and it's mostly me, or what was me, but I'm having trouble. And they keep pressing him and goes, okay, yeah, I was there, I got it. And Picard says, what was there? And he looks at him and says, Jean-Luc Picard. Now, I got it right away what he meant, that it was, well, it is what we're going to find out in about a minute. The show wants you to make you wait 2 more minutes to confirm, but we're smart. We're Star Trek fans. We're smart. We figure this shit out. He keeps glitching a little bit, and Worf makes a joke, can we reset him? Is there a reset button? And as Data glitches, again, this is great. This is tugging on that lore. He goes, I am Data. No. I am B4. Glitches again, goes, no. And gives the smirk. I'm lore. And that just goes, ooh, we're going to get I think we're going to get some lore. We're going to get some lore. It's going to be cool. And then he goes, no, I'm Singh. I guess it's a different Singh, not Noonien. Can't be Noonien. And then he reverts back to Data, and they keep pressing him. What did you find there? And speaking in a weird voice goes, Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Picard. And then they realize it as his eyes go into a kind of, I guess, a projector mode. Boop. Projects an image. And it is Jean-Luc Picard. The real Jean-Luc Picard. His body. The changelings took Picard's body. Why? Well, it has something to do with Jack. And everybody just looks very, very uncomfortable. We're all kind of uncomfortable, too. Yes, we can't get away from synthetic Picard. Positronic synthetic Picard. We can't get away from it. But we got one more scene. Riker getting abused by Starfleet security. Except one of the security guards, this alien, quickly turns around and ganks the other security, who were real, apparently. And then shapeshifts into Vadic. Vadic takes Riker, brings them aboard the Shrike, basically saying, you're gonna tell me everything I need to know. Riker going, no, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna break loyalty after 35 years. You're kidding me. Oh, you will break loyalty because we have your wife. Image changes. Holographic image. They have Deanna. She just goes, oh, Will. And now Riker has the choice, the Spider-Man choice. Who do you save? Who are you going to save? People or the one closest to you? Will he try and save them both? And will somebody die? Who knows? But that's episode. That's episode. All right, guys. Let's bring this review to an end.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Did you enjoy your encounters with all the Star Trek porn in this episode? I know I did. I'm thoroughly satisfied. And I hope you are too if you did watch the episode, or maybe now you might go watch the episode. Maybe you might go back to the beginning if you're finding this, and maybe I've convinced you. Don't worry if I haven't. It's okay. It's a lot to ask, especially since Kurtzman's Trek still obviously keeps leaking in here. Either way, this, as I said, this episode was nothing but, I felt like it was a nice hug. To not be so graphic anymore. I felt it was a nice hug from people who really like Star Trek. All the nods to everything, all the proper respect shown to ships, to characters, to relationships. It felt good. It felt really good. Yes, there was still a little cussing here and there. I still do not approve of that either. But I really liked Geordi and Data coming together now, and that's what I want most next episode. I'm most looking forward to a Geordi Data scene as Data tries to now get control of the multiple personalities that make up his new identity. Lore is in there, Lal is in there, Singh is in there, B4 is in there. My BS is the B4 is going to be the weakest one, but at some point you got to wonder, is all going to merge, or are they going to recede? I want to know. And I want to see their interactions. I want to see Geordi and Data, best friends, interact. That's what I want to see most next episode. I'm sure I'm going to get it. As for everything else, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. I do not think that Jack Crusher has aromatic syndrome. I think it's something else. I truly think it is something else. I think that's a red herring. I think they're trying to make you think it's not. Too much surrounding it does not jive with I'm just a hallucinogenic. You don't fight like Jason Bourne just because you're having delusions. You don't suddenly fight like that. He's connected to something, and it has something to do with Jean-Luc's flesh and bone body. I don't know. I want to know. I'm curious. I really am. Either way, so far I still recommend the show. I'm having fun. I look forward to this. Granted, in this moment, I would actually rather be playing Conan Exiles, but got to get this done. This is required. I'm in it. 4 more weeks, 4 more episodes. I cannot wait. I hope that you're enjoying this too. If you are, guys, remember to hit that like button. If you're new here, check out the channel and subscribe if you like it. And I will see you guys next week with episode 7. Till then, take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you'd like to reach out to me, please email me at theranernerd@gmail.com for all channel business purposes. I am on Twitter now, mostly for promotion and sharing of videos, maybe a little shit stirring here and there, who knows, @theranernerd. You can also find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can see me on Rumble and Odyssey under the Renaissance Nerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.